All right, this will be a trade recap for Tuesday, January 27th, 2026. Ah, pretty standard day for the most part. Took a total of 3 trades, which is usually on the higher side for me, but all in all, a good day. Small, again, issues that popped up. Can go over those and again, see where I need to improve. But before we get into that, if you need coaching, listen up because this part's for you. I am a student of this gentleman. This is Pat Mitchell. He is a professional day trader, though he originally was in blue collar work, and he has been in the markets for a little over a decade now. And he has built up a incredible process and knowledge base when it comes to learning how to day trade. He runs a service called Trick Trades. He has also put together inside of Trick Trades a program called Size Up, and that's what I do. And it is a structured program for learning how to day trade. You start with a small cash account and you basically build that up with your education, experience, and screen time to eventually hit different milestones and become a full-time professional day trader. So if you're interested in something like that, great person, probably one of the highest quality coaches when it comes to day trading out there. If not the highest quality, I don't personally know of any other coaches that I can stand by or say that about. And I've been around a few of them in terms of their services, and nothing even comes close to what Pat offers. So if you're looking for a high quality coach, I cannot recommend him enough. And like I said before, you can find him over at tricktrades.com. He also has a YouTube channel on his own where he posts recaps usually daily. If you want to check that out, you can get a little preview of the kind of information he offers and the quality. And that is just a very, very small amount of the knowledge he possesses. But yeah, definitely check him out. It will be worth your time and effort to go through some of his content and judge for yourself. And with that being said, let's get into the charts. Okay. So here are our charts. On the left here is our daily charts for SPY and Qs. And then in the middle here, we have our 1-minute chart and then order execution all the way here on the right. These levels you see are plotted pre-market. And these levels are chosen and the plan is developed by Pat for us. Good practice that I like to do is trying to mark out these levels beforehand to see if they match his. That way I can see if my mind and what I'm seeing is the same as what he's seeing, which is just a good test, a good daily exercise to see are you on point or you're off point. At least that's the way I look at it. The red levels that are dashed here, I like to plot out my risk just so I can kind of keep track of what levels I'm risking off of or where my risk is. That's a personal choice. You don't have to do it. Pat doesn't do it. Again, it's one of those things that might evolve going into the future, but it's just something I like to, for some reason, I like to see the visual. So with that, our first trade, let me pull up my entries for this one, was Qs. It was a long. So we're gapping up. So, and it was looking decent. So we had levels for both long and short. We were favoring Qs today just because the way where things were setting up versus SPY. So when we opened up, we did this quick dip down into this kind of initial starting level. Hit that one basically at that level. But given the distance, I probably would have, I was holding off on adding until we got closer but it popped back up before and decided, again, that's that first reaction. So pulled the position right there, green trade. Happened fairly quickly. Probably, yeah, just under a minute in that position. But sometimes that's just how these things happen. So happy on that one. Then this next one, kind of see that initial first trade here. Continue to come down into this lower long level, the main long level. And when it did, I started in kind of at this level again, which in hindsight was a mistake. It was way too early. And because of that, it kind of skewed my average as it was coming down. Hit comes down into it, comes through it. I'm adding there, comes up and starts basically looking good. So I start stripping out the size of the position, leaving a little bit on. And as it's basically coming back up, just continuing to pay myself. But this trade could have yielded a lot more. But because I entered in right there, that early entry is really what skewed it to where it was. Well, we're not chasing money, not as profitable as it could have been, because the average just, yeah. Because the only way to do that, really, again, get this sorted out when you start in that early is to add more size. And I was already at that comfortable size down in here, so I did not want to continuously add just out of caution. So still green trade. All the other entries I'm fairly happy with, as well as stripping out the size and holding and paying as it came back up. Happy with that. It's just that one. It's just that one early entry. And again, theme. One of the themes I have is that early entry. So really waiting for that level, especially after already taking it off this initial level, would have been the better choice there. And then for the last one was on SPY, and that was a short coming up into this level up here. Came up into it. I entered on this initial push into the level for the initial trade. Got smacked back down. Saw on that first reaction. Took profit with a green trade. Ultimately, again, came just kind of like this one did. Had that first initial test of a level, then it continues on, and then puts in a much, I guess, more substantial move or a more fleshed out move. And for this one, came up well within risk, because we're risk off the high of the range, and could have added there and taken again, but at that point I've now executed 3 trades, and to try and the next 3 green trades at that there was no need. And again, over trading has been an issue in the past. It hasn't been an issue as of, I would say, for the past 5-6 months. I would say I'd have to go back and double check that. So I wanted to make sure that, again, it wasn't repeating a mistake and a bad habit of the past. And had 3 green trades, calling it. You don't need to execute more. And honestly, it's probably with some of these trades would have been better. Like if I'd done this one right, I probably wouldn't even have taken this one. So it's one of those things where that's kind of a sign that's like, okay, why was I not executed 2 trades, regardless of what the dollar amount was gained off of those? Still executed them fairly well, except for that one issue. And yeah, why not just be satisfied with those 2? Why do this third one? There really wasn't a need for it. So I'd actually toss that in the bucket of overtrading. So between the early entry and then the overtrade right here, 2 issues on the day to take note of and correct for myself. And yeah, other than that, fairly clean price action wise. There wasn't a whole lot of confusion or anything funky that happened today. It was all pretty straightforward. So happy with that part of it. And yeah, that's more or less all I got for my trades on the day and issues I encountered and need to work on. But if you're someone that's new to this or struggling with this, check out Pat Mitchell over at tricktrades.com. He's a all-star coach when it comes to day trading. He really knows his stuff. He's been in this a decade. Or check out his YouTube channel to kind of get a preview of the information he throws out there. Again, that's his free stuff. It's not going to be everything, obviously. But yeah, definitely highly recommend if you need a coach and you really want to learn this, check him out. There is no one better in this industry. With that said, that's all I got. Hopefully everyone has a great evening and see everyone tomorrow for the next one. Have a good one, guys.